Hola y bienvenido a otra lección. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to look at cuando, the conjunction cuando, which in English means when. So depending on the context, we use cuando with either the indicative or the subjunctive. So let's get into this. So firstly, we use cuando to talk about habitual actions. For example, cuando lleve uso un paraguas. Cuando lleve uso un paraguas. So when it rains, I use an umbrella. Here we are talking about habitual action, something that usually takes place. Secondly, we have cuando voy al cine, como palomitas. Cuando voy al cine, como palomitas. So when I go to the movies or when I go to the cinema, I eat popcorn. Again, talking about a general truth, a habitual action, something that normally occurs. Mis amigos ríen cuando cuento un chiste. Mis amigos ríen cuando cuento un chiste. My friends laugh when I tell a joke. Again, talking about a general event. So you're seeing the structure here which uses the present indicative or the present tense with cuando to talk about a general action or a general event or something that is true. Now, if we are talking about something in the past, for example, we have cuando era niño jugaba mucho. Cuando era niño jugaba mucho. So this could mean when I was a little boy, I used to play a lot. Again, this structure shows cuando with the past indicative. So here you are using cuando when you're talking about actions that already occurred or you are describing an action. Another example, cuando llegó mi mamá, cenamos. Cuando llegó mi mamá, cenamos. When my mom arrived, we had dinner. So again, now you're seeing a past event, something that was concrete in the past, and thus we use the preterite tense in contrast to the first example where it was more describing something in the past. Another example. Me sentí feliz cuando recibí el regalo. Me sentí feliz cuando recibí el regalo. So I felt happy when I received the gift. Something concrete in the past. So the first one was present indicative, talking about a general activity. The second one is past indicative, using the past tenses to talk about a past event. But what about if we want to talk about something futuristic? What do we do then? So this is where we introduce the use of the subjunctive mood. So for futuristic events, things that have not happened yet, something with anticipation, we use the subjunctive. But we should pay attention to the structure of this. We use cuando and the subjunctive in the first clause, and the other clause we will use the future tense or command. So again, future tense and command goes with the cuando plus the subjunctive construction. For example, cuando vengas estudiaremos. Cuando vengas estudiaremos. So when you come, we will study. Here it implies that you have not come yet. So when you come, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, we will study. Llámame cuando llegues. Llámame cuando llegues. Call me when you come, or when you arrive, rather. So when you arrive, call me. Again, you haven't arrived yet. So when you arrive, call me. Cuando sea mayor, viajaré por el mundo. Cuando sea mayor, viajaré por el mundo. So when I am older, I will travel the world. So I'm not older yet. So when I'm older, I will travel the world. Just to reiterate, when you're using cuando in the subjunctive, it's used to talk about something that, will happen in the future or something that has not occurred yet. Now, we do have a couple more um, conjunctions. But before we get into that, this is just a summary showing you when to use subjunctive or the indicative. So for habitual or past events, indicative. Of course, habitual actions, present indicative, which is the present tense. And then for past or completed actions, past indicative, which would be the imperfect or the preterite tense. And for future, we definitely be using the subjunctive. So other conjunctions of time do follow the same rule like cuando. For example, in cuanto, tan pronto como, which carry the same meaning as soon as, hasta que, until, después de que, after, luego que, as soon as, and mientras. Now let's look at some examples. For factual or past events, again we use either the present indicative or the past indicative. Tan pronto como termina su tarea, juega. So as soon as he finishes his assignment, he plays. Habitual action. Esperamos hasta que llegó el autobús o el bus, so we waited until the bus arrived. Past indicative. Mientras cocinaba, escuché música. While I was cooking, I listened to music. Again, so past, a combination of the imperfect and the preterite tense there. But let's look at the other examples with the future tense or the anticipated events. Iré al parque en cuanto llegues. So I will go to the park as soon as you arrive. So here you are seeing, again, you have not arrived yet. So when you arrive or as soon as you arrive, I will go to the park. No me iré hasta que hablemos. I am not leaving until we talk. So I'm not leaving until we talk. So only after we talk, then I'll leave. Tan pronto como puedas, escríbeme. So as soon as you can, write me or text me or message me. And this is a command context. So these conjunctions again can use the present or past indicative or the subjunctive depending on the context. So moving on, one exception to this rule is antes de que. Now, antes de que always uses the subjunctive, regardless if it's a present event, if it's a past event, or if it's something in future. The entire construction tells us that something is in anticipation. For example, lávate las manos antes de comas. Wash your hands before you eat. Present situation, right? Or habitual situation. But it's something that you have to do or that you do before another event. So there's a bit of future in that. Estudié mucho antes de que empezara el examen. So I studied a lot before the exam began. So again, even though it's said I studied a lot, as in I did this, I did it before the exam began. And notice that we have estudié, which is in the preterite tense, and in the other clause, we have empezara, which is the imperfect subjunctive. So once you're using the past here, even though the subjunctive is required, the past subjunctive is needed here. Other example, hablo con él antes de que se vaya. So I speak with him or I talk to him before he goes away, before he leaves. So again, with this conjunction antes de que, you always require, always need the subjunctive. So I hope that this helps you. And if you have any questions, you can leave your questions in the chat. Please like and share this video. Until our next video, adios.